this week's episode of Star Watch, which is a weekly astrological transit report for Wednesday, February 8th. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. For those of you who are new, my name is Jane. Thank you all so much for being here. So, first of all, I'm sorry for not posting yesterday. In my healing journey, I have been having new things come up, which I think is a good thing because it means there's at least progress and there's not a lot of stagnation, but I'm dealing with headaches now, so it's been on and off. So yesterday I was in bed all day, but I'm feeling much better today, so I'm so sorry. But when I'm really looking at the stars right now, or the planets right now rather, from a kind of an intuitive place, I look at this and I'm like, well, it seems like we as individuals can feel or sense, like in our bones, like from a cellular level, that things are different. We are different, that life is about to be different. And it's not really like going to happen overnight. And it's going to be a slow evolution over the next couple of years into the new life. But I think there is this general readiness for an absolute release of the past. And let me tell you why I say that. I think this week is the week that is like the most important week before Saturn and Pluto transition next month, okay? So first and foremost, let's talk about the conjunctions. Mercury with Pluto, the Sun with Saturn, Venus with Neptune, and Jupiter with Chiron. Now, this Mercury conjunct Pluto has been happening all week, all right? This is not, this is almost over actually. 27 degrees with 28 degrees. So in the next couple of days, this conjunction is going to end. But I think the depth is really coming from this conjunction where Pluto, really affords us the opportunity to go real deep in our inner psyche, deep in our inner core, and extract a lot of information that we need in order to close out this chapter. Now, I talk a lot about how important it is that Pluto is coming into Aquarius this year, but remember, he is going back and forth between Capricorn and Aquarius 2 different times between now and 2020 and the end of 2024. All right. So, I'm not saying that this is like the end road for it, but I do think the fact that he's coming into Aquarius next month really shuts the door, or it's like the beginning of shutting the door on your life and what it has been since 2008. Now, a lot of people, when I mentioned that date, 2008, right? That was right before we had the big market crash. There was a lot of home issues, economy issues, a lot of people losing jobs during that time and rebuilding. There was a lot of politics stuff going on, just a lot happening. There was a lot of relationship stuff that happened as well, because in 2012, we had that Venus eclipsing the sun, which was 2004 and then 2012. So there was a lot of really weird relationship stuff that was going on as well. This is the time for us to say goodbye to this era of our life and to truly embrace the new. And Mercury is going to be going into this plutonic underworld here, going deep into the inner corners of our psyche, extracting information, or rather Pluto is going to be giving Mercury information so that he can deliver it to the Sun and Mercury and then all these planets as Mercury makes his way over here until he does his next retrograde over in Taurus, which is happening in April. So between now and April, a lot of the kind of feelings and the intuitive knowingness that you have, a lot of that kind of stuff is slowly going to come to fruition. And I think this is the week, right now, where the knowingness starts to come into our conscious mind. We just know that love is around the corner. We just know we're ready for a new job. We just know our business is going to start to perform. We just know it's time to move, like whatever it is, we just know. And while we don't have a plan yet, and we don't necessarily understand how this is all going to come together, we just know. And this is happening on a cellular level. And I want to say it's in our bones, because as the sun comes conjunct Saturn, we know Saturn rules the bones. Okay, so there's like this in your bones knowing that is happening. Now, just because you may not have a grand vision of your life, I think knowing that things are going to be different in a very generic way, right? Some of you don't have a vision. So it's just like things are going to be different, and that's the extent of it. And it's true. Things are going to be different. You are going to be different. Your life is going to be different. And the way that you work with your mind is going to be different as well, because I think Pluto in Capricorn is so controlling. And this era of our life was so much about control. It was about trying to control ourselves, trying to be super disciplined, trying to control other people, trying to control our circumstances, trying to get our life to look the way that not only we wanted it to look, but in a way that was also impressive for other people. And this is when we saw the massive rise of social media, specifically Instagram, right? Where we were specifically curating our life in a way that made it look so great, not necessarily for our own sake, but for the sake of everybody else. That is also a big part of what is changing and evolving. And so in our bones, we know that that era is coming to an end, coming to a close. And we're, I think, in this mental preparation right now. Now, with the sun coming conjunct Saturn, there is a desire to kind of get this new structure together. Now, it doesn't mean you're going to be able to do everything this week. Usually with conjunctions, I see a lot happening with the buildup of conjunctions, but then I also see a lot happening after. Okay, so it's like the conjunction is the initiation only. And then as the months go on, we start to see the fallout of the magic that is done during these conjunctions. This week is a magical week because of these conjunctions. Now, this one is going very slow, so it's not over this week, but it is at a 5-degree orb, right? 7 degrees, 12 degrees, so it's 5 degrees apart. So this one is going to continue to get stronger, I think, over the next 2 to 3 weeks, and then it will start to wane once Jupiter gets to that other side of Chiron. But this one here, right, Jupiter conjunct Chiron, is really bringing out the feelings of, on one hand, I think there's excitement at the notion of being free from the things that have been painful. But there's also a fear there if the pain or discomfort or the wound or the trauma has become so normalized, we don't know what life could possibly look like without it. You know, what would life look like without an unhealthy relationship, but rather a really healthy one? Some people, I'm not saying you guys, but some people are not ready for that. Okay, some people are going to need to go through a whole other round, a whole other era, another 20 years of dealing with all of that pain and stress, okay? But if you're truly ready to let it go, this is a time where I think you can feel it drifting away. And those years of stagnation, the feelings of things being very cold or uninviting or difficult to get or whatever the case is, it is starting to lift, okay? People who are ready to be free, right? Because that's Jupiter's whole thing, is freedom, to be free and to fly high and to not let anything hold him back ever. He wants freedom from this pain, okay? Freedom from the wound. And Venus conjunct Neptune is saying, well, it just might be possible. And I love the optimism of Venus conjunct Neptune, because while these conjunctions here, all three of these, Mercury, Pluto, Sun, Saturn, and Jupiter, Chiron, while all three of these conjunctions could have an ominous feeling, that's what they could have. It could be ominous, but it's not because of this. Because Pisces does have its rose-colored glasses on, right? Because Pisces does want to see the absolute best. Pisces does want to dissolve the past, right? Pisces is the sign of mercy and compassion. And it doesn't tend to hold on to things like grudge. I'm not talking about Piscean people, okay? I'm talking about the archetype. It's more about release, letting things go, sacrifice. Again, compassion and mercy. A lot of forgiveness happens here as well. And this is you, like, you don't want to be hard on yourself, and you don't want to be hard on other people, and you don't want to think about like the things that have been stuck or made solid. Like let's say you've had a lot of anger toward an ex that cheated on you. Rightfully, totally okay with you being angry about that. But Venus conjunct Neptune is like, I don't want to be angry. I don't want to have that energy inside of me. I don't want to have that emotion inside of me. Like it ruins my life. I just want to be happy. I just want to be free and enjoy my life and be pleasurable. And I just want the best of the best. That's it. That's all I want, right? That's Venus conjunct Neptune. And she's going to kind of add and balance out a lot of the more kind of hefty energy that's going on here. And I think this is needed, and this is so beautiful and so useful. And even later on in the next several weeks, when she comes into Aries and comes into a conjunction with Jupiter, I think that's going to continue. I don't think that's going to fully go away, where we have optimism right now in the sky for a reason, because the optimism is what's going to get us off the couch to do something. The optimism is what's going to enable us to put energy into something, or to initiate conversations, or to start researching something new, right? The stars want us to bring in a new life for ourselves. It wants us to grow our businesses, and it wants us to fall in love, and it wants us to do all sorts of wonderful things. And the cold, harsh environment that Saturn over the past 5 years, right? 2018, 2019, 20, 21, and 22, 5 full years of Saturn being in rulership. And we can even see, as of today, Saturn is still the strongest planet in the chart right now. He's going to start to move into Pisces, which is more, it's a lot more melty is what I say, right? Because if you think about it, Northern Hemisphere seasons, okay, we have the winter solstice, January and February, the coldest, harshest months of the year. And then in March, things start to melt. The birds come back, the snow starts to melt, we start seeing blossoms with certain things, And so life starts to really come back here in Pisces as we prepare for the spring equinox, okay? Which is where the light gets really, really strong. So we can tell Pisces is very hopeful, because it knows that what comes next is full of light and love. All right. So we're leaving this cold season behind. So if you have felt frozen for the past 5 years, frozen or stagnant, or if there's been a lot of hardship or illness or anything like that, Saturn coming into Pisces is at least going to offer that hope. Now, I did a whole spiel on Saturn in Pisces. If you want to take a look at my 2023 through 2026 video, you can definitely do that. I'm not saying it's a full bed of roses, but for us as individuals, all right, for us personally, we can really tap into that, because once Saturn comes out of rulership, he's just simply not the strongest planet in the chart anymore. He's just simply not. Okay. So other planets are going to start to, really take more control, and we have more space for growth here. Now, we don't have like a moon happening this week. The next moon is going to be in Pisces on February 20th. So we'll definitely talk more about that next week. The moon right now is in Libra. She's going to be coming through Libra, Scorpio, and then on into Sagittarius. As she comes into Scorpio in the next couple of days, you might feel some kind of wavering or volatile energy. We know that the moon is in its fall position here when she's in Scorpio. She's going to hit up against this south node. She's going to oppose Uranus. So you can maybe expect a couple of spikes this week. But really, I think, generally speaking, we have all the planets moving direct. We have... I should mention this week, in the next couple of days, on the 11th, we do have Mercury coming into Aquarius, which I like the way that Mercury in Aquarius manifests usually, because it's extremely high level and high perspective. It does take us out of our deeper emotion, especially as Jupiter conjunct Chiron could absolutely bring a lot of emotion with this. This is a healing transit. Okay, I know we are feeling a lot of our pains and a lot of our insecurities and our imposter syndromes and all of our childhood stuff. I know that we're so conscious of that right now. But as Mercury comes into Aquarius this week, we're going to be able to elevate above the emotion, right? Because again, the water bearer, Aquarius, holds the container with the water. The water represents the emotion. It can just hold space for that emotion, but it doesn't become the emotion. It's not that you are your emotion. You are just a human being having emotions. You are just a human being that needs to purge a lot of these emotions right now, because you are making space for the new. So at least the Mercury is helping us with understanding what's going on, and understanding that this does need to come out. Remember, I know that you feel in your bones that something in your life is fundamentally changing. And if emotion and childhood stuff is getting in the way, this is your week to really work on it. Now, I'm not saying that everyone can just get over their childhood stuff like that. Boom. It doesn't always happen like that. I completely understand. Some people have very traumatic experiences, and I'm not trying to undermine that in any way, shape, or form. But I feel a lot of people, regardless of the scope that you're dealing with, are going to make a decision to not let that stuff ruin your future. Okay, Aquarius is really futuristic, and it wants you to think about the next year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. It wants you to think that way. It wants you to think in decades and make decisions according to the decades-long goals. Okay? So you have the capacity to do that right now. So if you need to journal through all of this, you can do that. If you need to talk to people through all this, you certainly can do it. Mars in Gemini is absolutely helping with our communication. It's helping us work through a lot of stuff. And it's helping us make a lot of transitions as well. Mars in Gemini is highly transitionary. It's a mutable energy, right? Mercury ruled mutable. It's very flexible. So whatever adjustments are needing to be made for the sake of the future, you are 100% supported in all of that. But on one thing though, I do want you to allow yourself to have trust that you are being guided through this process. And it's not something that you necessarily have to consciously push for, but that this is something that is naturally and organically happening for you. So all you have to do is just feel what you need to feel. With Mercury in Aquarius, you get to observe yourself feeling what you feel. You get to witness your own optimism here and your own hope Hope is very important right now, okay? Hope, I think, is giving you a reason to release and extract a lot of this pain, okay? Because if you, let's use a relationship as an example. If you've been single for a long time and you're starting to feel that hope for a new love, a healthy love, then it gives you permission to release the trauma that you've experienced from the past. Okay? The hope, I think, is offering permission. It's offering safety and security in releasing all of this. Okay? You're very safe here. So please don't think that you're not safe. You are very, very safe. And as we make our way closer and closer, and I know we're like a month away from Saturn coming into Pisces, so I'm not trying to get so far ahead of it, but I do think we can feel it now. We're feeling it now. So this is all very preparatory, and I've said that for weeks now, where we're in preparation mode for a new era, which is the Pluto in Aquarius era. Okay? All right, you guys. I love you. Have a great week. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon.